Hello and welcome to PraDa Law Live. I'm your host for today's show, Jackie Mendez. We have an excellent show lined up for you guys, and before I get into it, I want to just remind you that that number on the screen is 888-88-LEGAL, and that's the number that you can call into to ask any questions. The show is live, and I want to go ahead and introduce our attorneys for today. First, we have Frank Jara.
Hello.
Welcome, welcome. And of course, Javier Rodriguez.
Good evening.
And of course, the lovely Jennifer Pratt.
Thank you, Jackie. Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here with you all today.
Excellent. So, ladies and gentlemen, today's show we're going to be talking, well, today's show is the free show. And that means we're going to be talking personal injury, labor laws, and of course,
workers' compensation.
Workers' compensation, exactly. And I'm going to go ahead and let Jennifer get into what this free show means today.
Thank you, Jackie. It's the free show, and who doesn't like free? It's one of my favorite shows of the week. Why? Because all the cases we're going to be speaking about this evening are free. You pay nothing unless we collect for you. You come to our office, you give us a call. The call is free. The consultation is free. And again, we do not pay any legal fees unless we collect. We
Nothing
have
at all, huh?
Nothing.
Wow.
Nothing. And if we don't collect, you don't owe us anything.
Okay.
Whether we've spent money prosecuting the case, fees, whatever it is, that's why it's a free show. And like our partner Joel Dama says, we're creating a partnership with you during these cases. Why? Because again, it's the free show. And unless we collect, you don't owe us anything. And we have very experienced attorneys on the panel this evening, and I'm very excited about speaking with Attorney Jara, who is our special guest tonight. You practice labor law. Please tell us a little bit what kind of cases entail labor law. What exactly does that mean? What are some of the common cases that people might come to you to represent them?
Hi, thank you so much for having me on the show. It's a pleasure to be here. It's great to be a part of this show and to participate in this free edition. Labor law cases are basically the type of cases that I typically handle are wage and hour. And what does that mean? That means, are you an hourly employee? Are you working more than 40 hours? Are they paying you overtime? This is what these types of cases handle. Sometimes employers like to mislabel employees to try to get them to pay them less per hour or not get them entitled to overtime. So these are the types of matters that I've handled. And hopefully we'll be able to shed some light on some questions today to inform the viewers, what rights they have under the Fair Labor Standards Act and under Florida law to protect their wages, because a lot of times, you work really hard for your money, you should get paid. That's
right, that's right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, once again, the call is free, the consultation is free. The show's live. You can go ahead and call in at any time. The number is 888-88-LEGAL. Give us a call. We're waiting to hear from you.
That's right, Jackie. And we also have on the panel Attorney Javier Rodriguez. He handles workers' compensation cases. And both cases have to do, both labor cases and workers' compensation cases are related to work, right? But how is workers' compensation different from what Attorney Jara practices, Attorney Rodriguez?
Well, there is some overlap, right? But with workers' compensation, we focus on the accident. Have you been hurt on the job? And if the answer to that question is yes, you have a workers' comp case. And with workers' comp, you're entitled to basically two types of benefits. The first being your medical benefits, where the workers' comp carrier has to pay for all of the medical bills, the therapists, the doctors, the MRIs. You don't pay anything out of your pocket. So all your medical benefits are paid for. And the second type of benefit are your indemnity benefits. And that's where you're not working, you're at home because you're hurt. The insurance company has to send you checks every week to your house, and those checks are tax-free. There is some overlap with Attorney Jara's cases because we look at those wages and we determine, is the insurance company paying you correctly? A lot of times you'll be at home, you're getting your checks, but they may not be for the proper amount. So we're able to get all the payroll records, examine those very carefully, and sometimes, you know what? You'll have a FLSA claim. You'll have an overtime claim because there's wages there that you're not getting paid time and a half. So coming in for a workers' comp consultation, we may also be able to review your case, and you're gonna have an overtime case that we can also handle for you.
Excellent, wow. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I want to remind you about that number on the screen because that's the number that can really help you find solutions. It's 888-88-LEGAL. Jennifer.
And in addition to the overlap with labor law, workers' compensation sometimes also has overlap with personal injury cases, correct, Attorney Rodriguez? We've spoken about how do they overlap sometimes, the personal injuries and the worker compensation cases?
Well, I mean, if you're hired to do Uber, Lyft, transportation, deliveries, and you're into a car accident, you're going to have a car accident case, a personal injury case, and you're also going to have a workers' comp claim. So under the workers' comp, you're entitled to, again, those medical benefits and those indemnity checks, but you're also going to have a third-party claim, an auto accident claim against the person who rear-ended you, who hit you. So a lot of times when we review those cases, you have two cases at the same time.
And if you are in that particular situation, I want you to give us a call right now. I can handle your personal injury case. We have Attorney Rodriguez for the workers' compensation, and we have Attorney Hara, our special guest for the evening, who can handle your labor case. And regarding labor cases, Attorney Hara, if I'm an employee at, say, a retail store or restaurant, how do I know that I have a case? What kind of case would I bring to you? Is it because my check is short? Is it because I'm not getting paid? I've heard of people that don't get paid regularly. In other words, one day they get paid on a Friday, then the employer says, I don't have money to pay you right now. You got to wait another 3 weeks, 6 weeks. What are the kind of situations that I, as an employee, can find myself in that you commonly find that employers are violating, whether willingly or not, here in the state of Florida?
Well, that's a good question. And typically what we see, you mentioned retail. For instance, retail, a lot of times what happens is they'll try to categorize you as a manager. Say, all right, you're a manager, you're not entitled to overtime. Now, just because you get categorized as a manager or supervisor or even a 1099 employee, I don't know if you know what a 1099 employee is an independent contractor. Not everyone qualifies automatically as a supervisor, manager, or an independent contractor. So you got to take a look at what are your duties, what the employee is doing, and analyze that to determine, are they entitled to overtime? And a lot of times here in South Florida, employees are miscategorized and they really are entitled to overtime. And just so the audience knows, overtime is any period over 40 hours on a given week. Now, you also mentioned restaurants. Well, restaurants have slightly different allowances. They're tipped employees, and the employers are allowed to pay them a little bit less an hour, but the same concept still applies to overtime and issues like that.
Thank you, Attorney Hara. Ladies and gentlemen, the number's on the screen, 888-88-LEGAL. We're going to have to take a very short break, but we'll be right back. Right, Jennifer?
That's right. And I want to come back and I want Attorney Hara to explain to us a little more about if you qualify for a labor case at this moment. We'll be right back.
I know you're home right now asking yourself, how? How will I pay my rent, my mortgage, my bills, my credit card debt? I'm attorney Alexis Garcia with PraDa Law. I've personally helped people with financial problems over the last 10 years. I understand what you are going through. We saw people lose it all in the 2008 financial crisis. You don't have to lose it all. The consultation is free. Call us now. I will help protect what you have built. You have nothing to lose by calling us. Call us now. These are trying times. This deadly virus is affecting our health, economy, jobs, our small business owners. Bankruptcy protection may be able to save assets and immediately stop your creditors from harassing you. Small business owners, employees of business of any size. We know you need help. Call us now. We will help you get back on your feet. Don't wait until it's too late. This is the time to call.
Sé que estás en la casa ahora mismo preguntándote, ¿cómo? ¿Cómo voy a pagar la hipoteca, la renta, los biles, las tarjetas de crédito? Soy la abogada Jennifer Pratt con PraDa Law. Yo personalmente he ayudado a las personas con problemas financieros durante los últimos 10 años. Yo entiendo por lo que estás pasando. Vimos cómo la gente lo perdió todo durante la crisis financiera del 2008. No tienes que perderlo todo. Llama ahora. La consulta es gratis. Te ayudaremos a proteger todo lo que has construido durante todos estos años. Sabemos que estos son tiempos difíciles. Este virus mortal está amenazando nuestra salud, nuestra economía, nuestros empleos y a los propietarios de nuestras pequeñas empresas. La consulta es gratis. Llame ahora. Te ayudaremos a recuperarte. No esperes hasta que sea demasiado tarde. Llame ya.
Welcome back to PraDa Law Live. Once again, I'm Jackie Mendez, your host for today's show, and I want to go ahead and get right into it. We've been talking personal injury, we've been talking labor laws, And Jennifer is here to lead us back into the conversation. So
that's right. And remember, the number is right on your screen, 8888-88-LEGAL. And before the break, we were talking to Attorney Hara regarding how do you know if you have a claim for some sort of labor issue that may be happening at your job. And Attorney Hara, you mentioned earlier about state law, federal law. I don't want to get too technical with the people, but if you could briefly explain what the difference is if I have a state claim or a federal claim, and whether or not we can handle both or either, that'd be great. I won't ask you a compound question. It was about to happen, but I'll leave you there.
Thank you. I enjoy the compound questions, don't worry. There are slight differences between the FLSA, which is a federal action under federal law. Similarly, the state of Florida, through the Florida statute, has a similar provision for unpaid wages. Now, while the remedies are very similar, the technicality, I guess, the difference between the two statutes is statute of limitations and preconditions of sending a demand letter prior.
Got it.
So really, it doesn't affect necessarily your rights. You can choose to do either or do both at the same time. Typically, most attorneys, when they handle these cases, belt and suspenders, will do both state and federal just to make sure every base is covered.
Okay, thank you very much, Attorney Hara. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, I want to go ahead and remind you about that number on the screen. The call is free. The consultation is free. The show is live. You can call us in at any time and ask whatever questions you may have. We have the solutions. The number is 888-88-LEGAL.
And this is a question for both of the attorneys on the panel. What about if you are an employee currently right now at your job? I'll start with you, Attorney Rodriguez. I know we've talked about it on the show before. Some of the hesitations that go into getting an attorney and filing a claim against your employer. How does that work? Are they entitled to? Do I have to quit my job in order to do that?
No, absolutely not. We don't want anybody quitting their job, and actually that's a bad thing to do because you'll cut out your indemnity portions of your claim. So a lot of times people have that misconception that I've worked here for a long time, I don't want to do anything negatively against the employer, I'm suing the employer. With workers' comp, when you settle your case, the person that's paying that claim is the workers' comp insurance carrier.
And it's not my boss then?
It's not your boss.
Okay.
They pay a premium every year for their coverage, and that's why they have that insurance coverage, to be able to handle these claims and pay the claims. So you're not doing anything wrong by reporting the claim. It's very important that you do so within 30 days of your injury. That is on you. You need to make sure you tell your boss, your employer, your supervisor that you got hurt at work. And once you do that, the next step is for them to send you to a doctor and start the medical treatment. And the doctor says you can't work, you're going to start getting checks. So there's nothing wrong with filing a claim. And that's something that's important to do, and if you're hurt, you're entitled to it. How
formal do I need to be? Is a text message enough? Is an email enough?
A text, a conversation, an email.
Oh, okay.
But just
so I don't have to write a long, drawn-out letter, dear sir, madam, to whom it may concern.
Not at all. You just let them know, and that requires the reporting requirement.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it. If you have been injured at work, you may have a case, and we may be able to help you. And the way that we may be able to help you is by calling the number on the screen, 888-88-LEGAL.
And before we go to Attorney Hara, the interconnection between workers' compensation, and I'm interested, here goes another compound question, if Attorney Hara is the same way with PI, is that we also don't sue, we sue technically the person that hit you, but who's really paying out is the insurance company. So we're going to be suing the insurance company of the person who injured you. And this is why it's equally important if you're injured in a car accident, if you have go take a look at your policy right now, whether you've been in an accident or you haven't been in an accident. It's so important to have under or uninsured motorist vehicle insurance, especially here in South Florida. Tons of people either don't have car insurance or are underinsured. They probably have the minimum, $10,000. I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, if you've been injured in a serious car accident, $10,000 isn't going to get you very far. You get a CAT scan at the hospital in the emergency room, and that alone is $5,000, $7,000. So we want maximum benefits, and the way you can protect yourself, the same way you protect your home, the same way you protect your boat, any other personal property of yours, is protect yourself by also getting this I really encourage everyone to get it. The insurance companies, your insurance company, the same one you don't want to make a claim against, isn't going to offer it to you. So please take a look at your policy. I encourage you to get that right away. And if you can, get it stacked. More on that later.
And ladies and gentlemen, I just want to go ahead and remind you one more time, this is the free show, which means we don't get paid unless you get paid. Okay, so the number on the screen is 888-88-LEGAL. That's the number you want to call for any questions you may have regarding personal injury, labor, and workman's comp.
And Attorney Howard, we've got about 15 seconds before the break, and I don't want to cut you off, but does it matter if I bring this claim, FLSA claim against my employer or not before, if I'm still working there?
Well, if you're still employed, you still have the right to bring a claim, and it's against the law for the employer to terminate your employment for bringing a claim and enforcing your rights.
And I want to talk about that because it happens often. So listen in. If you think you have a claim, we'll be right back after the break.
I know you're home right now asking yourself, how? How will I pay my rent, my mortgage, my bills, my credit card debt? I'm attorney Alexis Garcia with PraDa Law. I've personally helped people with financial problems over the last 10 years. I understand what you are going through. We saw people lose it all in the 2008 financial crisis. You don't have to lose it all. The consultation is free. Call us now. I will help protect what you have built. You have nothing to lose by calling us. Call us now. These are trying times. This deadly virus is affecting our health, economy, jobs, our small business owners. Bankruptcy protection may be able to save assets and immediately stop your creditors from harassing you. Small business owners, employees of business of any size, we know you need help. Call us now. We will help you get back on your feet. Don't wait until it's too late. This is the time to call.
Sé que estás en la casa ahora mismo preguntándote cómo voy a pagar la hipoteca, la renta, los biles, las tarjetas de crédito. Soy la abogada Jennifer Pratt con PraDa Law. Yo personalmente he ayudado a las personas con problemas financieros durante los últimos 10 años. Yo entiendo por lo que estás pasando. Vimos cómo la gente lo perdió todo durante la crisis financiera del 2008. No tienes que perderlo todo. Llama ahora. La consulta es gratis. Te ayudaremos a proteger todo lo que has construido durante todos estos años. Sabemos que estos son tiempos difíciles. Este virus mortal está amenazando nuestra salud, nuestra economía, nuestros empleos y a los propietarios de nuestras pequeñas empresas. La consulta es gratis. Llame ahora. Te ayudaremos a recuperarte. No esperes hasta que sea demasiado tarde. Llame ya.
And welcome back to PraDa Law Live. I'm Jackie Mendez, and we're here with our great attorneys, of course, Jennifer Pratt, Javier Rodriguez, and Frank Hara. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking a little bit about everything, but I just want you to remember that the number on the screen, 888-88-LEGAL, that's the number you need to call for your free consultation. The call is free. This show's live. You can call in now at any time. Give us a call. We want to hear from you. And I want to ask Jennifer a quick question. Why an attorney?
That's a great question, Jackie. Many people get into a car accident, and the first call you're going to get is from the other person's insurance company. Hell, sometimes even your own insurance company. And they're going to try to convince you right away that you don't need an attorney. What for? You've got your first $10,000 medical bills paid for. They got them. They're going to fix your car. And that's how they get you. And then before you know it, you're signing a release and you're signing your rights away. And oftentimes, they're not even going to tell you that there's a BI, bodily injury portion to the other party's insurance, or worse, a UM insurance policy on your own policy. So why an attorney? Because we're the ones that are going to send out a demand. We're the ones that are going to fight and argue why you should, if not get policy limits, get compensated for your injuries. And not only that, ladies and gentlemen, the difference between trying to do this on your own in a PI context is that if we can't resolve pre-litigation, our law firm will file a lawsuit and we will go to court. And we will take the case all the way to trial if necessary for your rights.
Excellent. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, once again, 888-88-LEGAL. That's the number that you need to call for all the solutions that you may have. You may have a case. If you've been injured at work, again, you may have a case that we can help you with.
That's right. And Jackie brings up a very great question that I'd also like to share with the panel. Why? Why an attorney in a workers' compensation setting or issue or claim, right? Attorney Rodriguez, because oftentimes they'll tell you, but we're paying your medical bills and we're giving you, your X percentage of your wages. What do you need an attorney for?
It's important to have an attorney. First of all, the insurance companies, they have their counsel, they have their attorneys that are working on their behalf. These insurance adjusters handle thousands of cases. So a lot of times they make mistakes, not on purpose, just because they're handling file after file after file, and you're a number to them. All they want to do is get you to a doctor quick, pay whatever it is, and get you back to work. So they may not be paying you correctly. They may not be paying the medical bills on time. So you need an attorney to basically fight for those two things, your medical care and your indemnity checks. But more importantly, you need an attorney to help negotiate a settlement. Let me say that again, negotiate a settlement. With workers' compensation cases, you can settle your case once you're done with your medical treatment. And they're going to put a lump sum of money in your pocket, which is tax-free. That settlement is based on your future medical care, there is no cap, and your future wages. So it's important to have an attorney experienced that understands the law, can apply the facts of your case to the law, and get you the most money possible. And again, we talked about this being the free show. You don't pay anything for the phone call. You don't pay to come in and meet with us. You don't pay every time you call us. The only way our firm gets paid is if we bring a settlement on your behalf and close out that case.
And Attorney Rodriguez, you hit the nail on the head. For a lot of people, a lot of times the problem is they're saying, well, I don't know, I don't want to do this. But the settlement part, that is huge. That is huge, and I think that is what needs to be really driven to the public today. If you want to get a good settlement, think about it. Sometimes the injuries are so catastrophic, these work injuries, you may never be able to work again. And unless you have an attorney fighting for you, saying, hey, we need to compensate this person for the rest of his or her life, I mean, do you agree? They're going to get, not going to get compensated what they need in their claim.
And it's hard. If you're just a layperson, someone who's been working your entire life, you don't know how these insurance companies are going to value these claims. And it's important. Prior to working for the injured worker, I spent 5 years working for the insurance companies, working for the employers, understanding how they value the cases. And you don't want to leave any dollar on the table. You want to maximize that settlement. Again, it's tax-free, and it's your one shot at getting compensated for your injuries. You did nothing wrong, you got hurt in the job, and you should get paid.
Thank you so much. To all our viewers at home, if you have been injured at work, this is your moment, this is your chance to call, to find some solutions, to get paid, to get compensated. The number on the screen is 888-88-LEGAL. We're here to help you, we're here to listen, and we want to hear a little bit more from Attorney Hara.
That's right, and like Attorney Rodriguez said quickly, that's not your fault. Even if it is your fault, though, you can still you can still file a workers' compensation claim.
Right. That's the nice thing about workers' comp. You don't have to prove any liability. You don't have to prove that you did something wrong. As long as you were at work and you made the mistake and you stepped in the box and you fell and it was your fault, you still have a workers' comp claim.
Attorney Hara, why do I need an attorney to bring forth these minimum wage? Can't I just go into my manager's office and say, look, I did the math, here's the evidence, you're not paying me? I heard it has something to do with a little extra, talk to me, because, money talks to me, so talk to me.
Here's the thing, of course you can walk into your manager's office and tell them, hey Jack, I'm owed this amount. Chances are they're gonna wanna try to negotiate with you, but you know what? Earned wages are not negotiable. You're entitled to those wages. Additionally, a violation of the Fair Labor Standards Act entitles you to what is called double damages.
Talk to me.
So
what does
let's
that
say,
mean?
for an example, you're owed $10,000 in wages. Under the statute, you're entitled to double your damages, and in most cases, you can get an additional $10,000. Not only that, under the statute, your attorney's fees are covered. What does that mean? That means you don't give me 1 penny.
Okay, and that's why this is the free show, I guess, ladies and gentlemen.
So how do you get paid?
The employer pays me.
I love it.
Yes. So they take care of all the costs, all the litigation fees. And basically, why do you really want this? Because it's a federal case, and you don't want to go into a federal case without representation of an attorney. You want to maximize your dollars, you want to maximize your rights. And employers, they're making out like bandits. They're paying below minimum wage, they're not paying overtime. And you're doing the hard work, it's your sweat, it's your blood, it's your tears. You deserve to get paid the wages you earned.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are PraDa Law Live, and that number on the screen, 888-88-LEGAL. We hope to hear from you. And Jennifer?
That's right, Jackie. We've had a great show today. It's a free show, one of my favorite shows, my favorite show. I hope you give us a call if you see yourself in any of these situations. It's been a pleasure to be here. Thank you to the panel. Can't wait for the next show. Roger out.